Hey, what's going on, guys? I got a little topic I want to talk about today, and it's about energy. Because in baseball, everything we do, we start by creating energy, okay? And it always starts from our feet and moves up our body through a kinetic chain, and then it has to go out of our body somehow. And the longer I've coached, the more I've noticed that there's two types of energy that we can get, whether we're pitching or we're hitting. And in this video, I want to talk about those two types of energy and how you can leverage each one of them on the mound and in the batter's box. So we're going to start first with on the mound. First of all, the two types of energy are going to be linear energy, or what I call linear energy, and rotational energy, okay? So, on the mound, the first type of energy you're going to get, like I said, it starts from your foot, starts from your legs, and moves up your body. But the first type of energy we're going to start to create in this is going to be linear energy. We're going to start on the mound, and we're going to start moving towards home plate, okay? Now, with that being said, to do this, we really got to give ourselves the best chance to generate and transfer as much energy as possible, okay? And we also have to be able to leverage it when we want to get it out of our body, okay? So I'm going to skip all the in-between stuff and just go to how we're going to leverage it as we get it out of our body. So obviously on the linear energy, we're going to be coming down that mound, driving down, and if we just kept going, if we collapsed our front leg and we just kept going through here, we're going to lose a lot of that energy. We have to have something in our pitching mechanic to stop, to pitch against, to leverage that energy and get it out of our hand. So for our linear energy, it's going to be our front leg. The best pitchers in the game, some of the guys that throw the hardest, have a straight front leg at release point. So they're coming down, they're bent at first, but as that arm comes through, boom, that leg straightens out, and they're pitching against that leg. So that energy, all that energy you created, starts going forward, and then it goes, nope, can't go out this way, so it finds somewhere else to go out. Conveniently, your hand is coming through the zone at that point, and all that energy goes through the little white baseball, okay? So that's how you leverage the linear energy on the pitching mound. Rotational energy on the pitching mound. Some people call it staying closed. Some people call it hip to shoulder separation. Some people call it torque. You can call it whatever you want, but it's rotational energy, okay? Now the rotational energy is when you get all this and you unwind from here to here. You're turning, right? In the pitching mechanics. So now we've got another problem. We've got to leverage this so we don't leak it out. Because if you go here and you let this glove fly out and you just keep spinning, you're going to lose a lot of that energy again. So to leverage your rotational energy on the pitching mound, you're going to do what I call blocking off. And what that consists of is, first we're going to stay close because we want to torque this up. We want to get some rotational energy out of it. But as we open up, get into our scap load, and then our elbow comes down, this is the part where we want to block off. Elbow comes down and we stop. Elbow comes in and this stops us from rotating any further, okay? So we want to elbow in and block it off. We don't want to pull this thing in because then we can over rotate and lose some energy. We want to block it off. A good way to think of it might be like putting your forearm on a wall that's about 3 feet high or however tall you are. Right here, and then that stops the rotation. Now everything comes back into a straight line. And all that energy comes out of that conveniently placed hand with a baseball in it that's coming through as we're throwing. So now if you can do that and put it all together with good timing, you're going to take all that energy that you generated from your legs into your core, block them both off with a straight front leg or a strong front leg, and a block off with the arm, and then that ball is going to come out with a lot of extra energy in it. You're probably going to throw a lot faster. Now hitting is very, very similar to pitching. We've got the two types of energy, rotational and linear energy. Now, here's where it gets a little bit crazy because there's two philosophies of hitting. One is called linear and one is called rotational. Now, I'm not talking about these philosophies of hitting. I'm just talking about energy in general, okay? So, what we want to do is we want to create some energy, whether you're a rotational hitting guy or a linear hitting guy, you still want to create some energy off of your back foot, okay? You want to be driving into that ball going forward, just as if we were pitching, right? But now we're hitting, so we're going to be a little bit shorter. We're not going to be way up here with our leg, but we're going to be a little bit shorter, and we're going to get to that ball moving into our front leg, okay? We're not going to stay back the whole swing. That's going to be our linear energy. Now, the same thing goes with hitting. You want to hit against a straight, firm front leg. And because of that, when you're swinging, when I start to swing, let me pull my shorts up so you can see my front knee. When I start to swing, boom, my front knee is still bent. But as I'm coming through, as I'm transferring my weight into that front side, because I'm driving off my back leg, I straighten it out, and my energy goes, hey, we can't go through here. We can't leak out here. Let's find somewhere else to go. And it goes into this rotational spot where you're still unwinding, and then right out through the hands, okay? Now the only difference, so you got that straight front leg at contact with hitting as well, just like in pitching. The only difference is, with hitting, is we don't have anything to block off our rotational energy. That's why one of the biggest problems with hitters is flying open, because there is nothing to block off that rotational energy. The best way to work on getting your energy correctly, though, from the rotational part of it, is to think about getting through that ball, okay? So although we can't block off anything on a rotational energy with hitting, you can think about extending through that ball here and really finishing through that ball where you're trying to finish it. Versus, what I see a lot of guys doing is finishing that swing way out that way. So thinking more through the ball when you're finishing your rotation versus finishing that swing. So through the ball versus finishing that rotation, okay? So that's the only difference between the hitting rotational power and pitching rotational power. But the linear energy and blocking off that straight front leg is exactly the same. So think about that a little bit. Go ahead, leave some comments. I know I'm going to get all kinds of comments on this one. So let me hear what you got to say, and we'll talk about it. All right. Hope you liked it. Thanks, guys.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and then join the free newsletter at yougoprobaseball.com.